Can you even imagine a world without Netflix or YouTube? Without being able to just summon any movie or show you want instantly? I mean, it really wasn't that long ago that this was pure science fiction. So how on earth did we get here? Well, the story of video streaming, it's a massive technological revolution. And we're going to break it down as a classic four-act play, pulling back the curtain on everything from an impossible dream to the wild reality we live in right now. Okay, just think back for a second. Can you hear it? That awful, screeching, beeping sound of the internet connecting? Or maybe you remember staring at a tiny little video on your screen, the size of a postage stamp, just watching that little circle spin and keep on spinning. Ugh. The difference between then and now is absolutely staggering. We went from that grainy, buffering nightmare, to a world where you tap a button and boom, entire universes appear in crystal clear 4K. So what actually happened? What were the key breakthroughs, the big business bets, and the cultural shifts that made it all possible? Let's get into it. And that kicks off Act 1, The Dream. Back in the 1990s, the whole idea of streaming video was just, well, a dream. People wanted to do it, for sure, but the reality? It was a complete and total technical nightmare. The biggest problem was something you could call a viability gap. Okay, here's an analogy. Imagine trying to drink a super thick milkshake through one of those tiny little coffee stirrers, right? The huge video files are the milkshake, and our painfully slow dial-up connections were that tiny little straw. It just didn't work. But, that didn't stop people from trying. You gotta love this. In 1993, a garage band from Silicon Valley, with the incredible name of Severe Tire Damage, actually managed to pull off the first ever live stream. It was this amazing, almost reckless moment that just perfectly captured the ambition of the time. But here's the absolutely wild part. That one live stream, a super grainy 152-pixel video that you could barely even watch, ate up nearly half of the entire internet's bandwidth at the time. 50%! Can you believe that? That just shows you the gap, right? The dream was big, but the pipes just weren't there yet. So the dream was stuck. The tech just couldn't keep up. And that brings us to Act 2, the revolution. It showed up in 2005 with a simple little website that would completely change the rules of the game. Of course, I'm talking about YouTube. So while all these other companies were trying to make complicated deals with Hollywood, YouTube's idea was so much simpler and way more revolutionary. They just said, hey, let's make it easy for regular people to share their home videos. And that was it. It was a total stroke of genius. It was free, it was fun, and it went viral almost instantly. So viral that Google just had to buy it for a cool $1.5 billion only a year later. But here's the thing. YouTube's biggest impact wasn't on cat videos. It was on information itself. It kicked off something we now call the Great Unbundling. Think about an old newspaper. It's a bundle, right? News, sports, comics, ads, all bundled together. Well, YouTube did that to journalism. It ripped the active reporting away from the institution of a newsroom. All of a sudden, you didn't need a press pass or a TV studio. All you needed was a camera. And when you do that, when you unbundle reporting, it doesn't just change how we see the news. It completely changes who gets to make it. And out of that shift, two brand new, incredibly powerful forces were born: the citizen journalist and the independent creator journalist. So first, you've got the citizen journalist. This is all about raw, unfiltered eyewitness video. Think about the Arab Spring, where activists got around state-run media, or the Black Lives Matter protests, where a smartphone video became undeniable evidence. Then, on the other hand, you've got the creator journalist. This is a whole new type of pro who built an entire news operation around their personal brand, directly challenging the big guys like the BBC or the New York Times. Okay, so YouTube totally conquered the world of short, user-made videos. But what about professional TV shows and movies? Well, that brings us to Act 3, the professionalization. And it was led by a company that, you'll remember, got its start mailing DVDs in those little red envelopes. In 2007, Netflix rolled out a completely different model. See, YouTube was all about free, ad-supported video. Netflix pioneered what's called Subscription Video on Demand, or SVOD. The idea? One flat monthly fee gets you all-you-can-eat access to a huge library. And that one simple idea gave birth to the cultural phenomenon we now all know and love, binge watching. So what was the magic tech that finally killed the buffering wheel and made binge watching possible for all of us? It's a technology called adaptive bitrate streaming. Basically, it's the secret sauce. Your device is actually downloading a few different versions of the video at different quality levels. And this tech is smart enough to switch between them on the fly depending on your internet speed. That's it. That is the unsung hero that made buffering a distant, painful memory. And that seamless experience, that professionalization, leads us straight into our fourth and final act, the chaotic, messy, and totally fascinating era we're living in right now. Welcome to Act 4, the fragmentation, or as you probably know it, the streaming wars. And what kicked it all off? It was Netflix itself. In 2013, they launched House of Cards. And in that one moment, Netflix went from just being a library for other people's stuff to being a powerhouse creator in its own right. This wasn't just a new show. Oh no, this was a declaration of war on the old media world. It was the shot that started the content arms race. And you can just see the dominoes fall after that. All these legacy giants, like Disney, suddenly woke up and realized they had been, and I'm quoting them here, willingly and stupidly giving their best stuff to their biggest future competitor. So they pulled it all back. Disney weaponized its incredible library to launch Disney+. HBO leaned into its prestige brand for HBO Max. And Amazon just shoved its service into the Prime juggernaut. The result? The great fragmentation we all deal with today, juggling 5 different subscriptions just to watch our favorite shows. So there you have it. Let's pull it all together. That's the entire history of video streaming, laid out in a clear 4-act play that has completely and fundamentally rewired our world. First, there was Act 1, the impossible dream of the 90s. Then came Act 2, the revolution sparked by YouTube in 2005. That was followed by Act 3, the professionalization of binge watching, thanks to Netflix. And finally, Act 4, the fragmentation of the streaming wars, which is the high-stakes battle we're all still living through today. And you know, that's the real takeaway here. This story is about so much more than just bandwidth and algorithms. Streaming is a force that has totally rewired our relationship with media. It has literally changed our daily schedules, it's changed our culture, and it's changed the fundamental economics of how creative stuff gets made and paid for. So I'll leave you with this final thought. This whole journey from buffering to binging has obviously given us incredible control over what we watch. But the bigger question is, how has it changed us? Has it made us more connected or more isolated in our own little content bubbles? That's the real question that I think we're all still trying to figure out.